Welcome to Kaleidoscope. This is Nan Michael, one of the producers of Athens Kaleidoscope, and with me is Jane Penwell, my co-producer. And Jane, I'd like to start off with a little PS to last week's opening volley.
Volley. What was it?
I forgot to mention Maxine.
Oh.
And her humor. And the topic was how we feel about old people humor.
Oh, right.
And the fact that some people feel, many people feel, everybody I talk to feels that they don't like it because it puts old people down. And I feel it's kind of like an escape mechanism, or lets off steam, or something like that. Anyway, I brought 3 of Maxine's funnies today.
Oh, she's
Maxine
great.
is an old lady on the internet.
Hallmark. She's a Hallmark character. Yeah, you can buy Hallmark cards.
She has funnies. The first one was, when I was younger, I could really kick some butt. Now I just go for the ankles.
That's a good one. Nip around the ankles.
Another one, I ran into an old friend from high school the other day, and she looked marvelous. So I ran into her again.
Whoever thinks he's up is pretty clever.
Another one, swollen ankles, nature's own stocking stuffer.
She has a dog, too. Maxine has this funny-looking little dog, and he's a great addition because when they draw her, you know, she has a specific persona when she's drawn, and then the dog always has this look like, you know, get this woman, what's she about?
Now this one I think is the best one.
Okay.
I like to hang out under mistletoe at parties to make everyone really uncomfortable.
I got the best, this reminds me of my birthday cards. I got the best birthday cards this year. I'll have to bring a couple of my birthday cards in and read them to you because they're just so funny. I don't know how they're getting these people to write this stuff nowadays, but they're really clever. Far more clever than they were, it seems to me, like even 5 years ago. The ones that I got were fantastic. And I kept them because they were so good. I kept them. I thought, I'm going to look at these and get a laugh. You know, later when I'm down in the dumps, I'll get out my birthday cards and laugh.
When you're really a lot older.
Oh, yeah.
Look back in your,
much older.
on your youth.
I'll have to hold them out the ear. You know, my mother used to say, there's nothing wrong with my eyes. It's just the fact that my arms are too short. There she is. There's Maxine.
All right.
And she's just perfect. And she always wants to wear her slippers too, because, you know, shoes bother her, and like you said, swollen ankles and all that kind of stuff. So she's always in her bedroom slippers. Even when she's out on a park bench, she's in her bedroom slippers.
Well, I have a news item.
Well, wait a minute. Now you have to tell us, are you for Maxine or against Maxine? I mean, you didn't like the old age jokes.
I didn't like?
You didn't like the one last week. You didn't like the jokes about aging people.
Oh, that's something I read about from Wikipedia about, but I didn't have any jokes. Well, there were the cloggers, but you disliked that more than I did.
Oh, I really did. But how do you feel about Maxine? Because maybe because she's portrayed as old, you know. She's no spring chicken.
She admits it.
Yeah.
I admit it too. You don't have to.
What choice do we have? Right. I've got 4 grandchildren, you know. I'm no spring chicken. But you know, it's life. There's nothing we can do about it. And laughing about it, or anything else, in my opinion, helps.
Relieve some of the tension, I
Yeah,
think.
so that's why I don't mind them unless they're mean-spirited. If they're mean-spirited and they're really somebody up on their pedestal of 25 years old or something, looking down at poor, feeble, elderly people, I don't care for that.
Or discounting them.
Yes, yes. But when it's just a funny joke, and stuff is funny. I mean, how many times have you gone into a room and thought, why am I here? What did I come in here for? I mean, that's funny. It happens to me and I laugh at myself. I find myself upstairs in my bedroom thinking, what the heck am I doing up here?
Don't give them a chance to laugh at you now.
That's okay. I laugh at myself, so they can go ahead.
Okay.
And some of the things my friends tell me are funny too, which I can't think of at the moment. But I mean, just life itself and the silly things that happen to you are funny, and we need to laugh at that. Because remember, laughter's the best medicine.
And I even laugh at some death jokes.
Yeah. Well, now, I don't know that I've heard a funny death joke anytime recently. But
You haven't?
I don't think so.
Oh, I'll have to do a little research for you.
There you go. The ones I see always have the Grim Reaper, and he scares me. I'm like, oh. It reminds me of that movie, Ghosts. Did you ever see that movie?
I think I
With
did.
Whoopi Goldberg and Patrick Swayze, the guy that died. And the bad guys came. When a bad person died, the bad things came up out of the ground, and took them down.
Uh-huh.
We know where that is, don't we? And that scared me to death. I thought, oh my gosh, I hope they're not going to come after me.
I'm sorry.
No, I didn't mean it. I said all my life, I'm going to wait until my deathbed and then repent. Trouble is, you don't necessarily know your deathbed. So.
Okay. Back to the news of the day. A 9-year-old girl was killed her gun instructor on the range. And the place that it happened was called Bullets and Burgers.
I think that
Bullets and Burgers.
one of the most horrible things that I have heard in the last, year. That anybody, first of all, would take a 9-year-old child to a gun range and let her shoot an AK-47, start with that, and then put the thing on automatic. Then it's and she couldn't control it, and that's how the guy got killed. She has to live with that the rest of her life. Her parents, that should be, as far as I'm concerned, that should be child abuse.
Well, it seems that the instructor did not follow his training, where he was supposed to stand and where his arm was to be in relation to the gun.
Well, regardless of that.
Experts on CNN said that children being trained to shoot should be trained on a single shot firearm.
Absolutely.
Rather than submachine guns.
A good old-fashioned shotgun. You have to go chuck, chuck to load that bullet in there. You don't pull the trigger and, 100 bullets spill out. Oh, it's just terrible. And I don't care where his arm was or wasn't or anything else. I'm concerned about the child. The fact that she has to live with the fact that she has killed somebody, killed them dead, and she saw him after she shot him because she was right there. How can she ever get over that?
And they won't say how many shots he got. He was hit in the head, but they refused to tell how many bullets went in him.
Well, I've seen animals that were hit in the head by a single shot shotgun, and that's not a pretty sight. So I can imagine after you get shot in the head by the AK-47 on automatic.
Well, he shouldn't have been to the left side of the gun, but the child should not have been shooting anything other than a single-shot firearm.
Right.
One of the experts that CNN quoted has daughters who are 11 and 13, and his girls learned to shoot when they were 4 years old with a single-shot .22 caliber pistol.
Well, I certainly...
4 years old, and we wonder why kids are into shooting up schools. They do sell submachine guns that only have single shots or can be used to train children.
Oh.
Quote, it can be done under the right circumstances. There are some machine guns that I could have trained my 8-year-old on.
Yeah, well.
And a Uzi can fire 5 rounds in 1/3 of a second.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think they all have, you know, like a dial, and you can go from, some of them I think you can go from fully automatic to partially automatic to not automatic at all, so it would be single shot. But he let her shoot it as a single shot weapon, and then he put it on full automatic. And she's just a tiny little girl. That thing's gonna buck. I don't know, have you ever shot a shotgun? You know, it's got a kick, just a shotgun.
When I worked for the prison, they sent me to training, firearms training or whatever. And I was out on the range, and it seems like a couple of women shot a time or two and then got all teary and was let off. And when it was my turn, I said, can I get off with before I shoot the gun? And they let me.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, when I
Just how-
went,
yeah.
I said, I'm from West by God, Virginia, and I've shot shotguns before, so it's no problem for me. But here's the thing. I don't want to shoot. I don't have any desire to shoot a gun. Like today, you know, go out and shoot a gun. No, they don't appeal to me like that. I think of a gun as something at the most dire of circumstances, you know, that you would want to protect yourself, and that's it. I don't think there's any other reason that I would ever shoot a gun. But here's the thing. I said I wasn't going to talk about this, but, you know, Michael Brown was shot in Ferguson, and somebody on some TV program that I was watching, I don't know, CNN or one of those, said, well, why couldn't the guy have shot to wound him? And this is a huge misconception that people have, that because you see it on TV, you know, the cops on TV, they shoot a gun out of somebody's hand. Well, that's trick shooting. If you could do that, you could be on a pistol team somewhere. They teach you to shoot for, you know, to aim for the trunk, because that's the biggest part of anybody's body. And the chances are that you'll hit them, you know, if you aim for the trunk. If that doesn't work, then you move up to the head, which is the next biggest thing. So no police officer that has had, like we did, you know, a couple of hours of training on a range with the weapon is going to be able to shoot the guy in the elbow, let's just say, or the knee. It just isn't going to happen. So I think people don't realize that. I think people watch TV and on these video games that they play, you know, with the guns, they just simply don't realize that it is not possible for an ordinary person with an ordinary gun, most of which the sights don't even work right, you know, to hit somebody anywhere else but in the center of their body. So it's futile to even imagine that.
Well, what actually happened was she fired several rounds in rapid succession, and the gun kicks to the left as she loses control. And experts said the Uzi can fire 5 rounds, 1/3 of a second.
Oh, that's so scary.
And I guess a full load of bullets. I don't know.
Obviously, they weren't blanks, which they should have been.
Yeah.
Why would they not have that kid shooting blanks?
Well, this was, the parents were present, and one of them videotaped prior to the deadly shooting.
I saw that part where she shot just one shot. So,
Oh, you did?
yeah, I saw that. I saw that clip. I mean, they should be in jail right now as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, listen, that's rather strong statement. I'm sure it's not their fault that she wasn't trained right, or that she was trained with a gun that didn't have the whatever you said or ought to have had.
Well,
All they did was take her there to learn how to do it, and it was in kind of a tourist trap place.
yeah, I think they said an hour from Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry if that seems harsh, but would you have ever taken your 9-year-old daughter there? I certainly wouldn't.
Take anybody there.
I wouldn't take my 29-year-old daughter there. So, de facto, they've given permission by taking her there. They've given permission. And that's the part that I think is wrong. And I know, younger and younger kids are, because of all this concealed carry and all this kind of stuff that we have now, they were even talking about giving teachers guns. How would you feel as a kid in a classroom?
If you missed the
Yeah.
flash word.
I mean, how would you feel? The teachers that I had when I was in school, the thought of them carrying guns is absurd. Totally absurd.
My math is so poor because the tension with those arithmetic flashcards, and that tension was always associated with math and...
Yeah, me too. I hated math.
Yeah. Well, I called Kroger today
No.
and asked them if they allowed gun-toting customers
Oh,
in
good
their
for you.
store.
And what did they say?
The first person said he didn't know. I said, can I speak to the store manager? The store manager came on and I asked him, and he said, no comment. Then he said, well, I asked him, so if you don't know, what would you do? Like if someone now walked in with a gun, and he said, here's the number of the home office, call the home office. So he would stand there without knowing
He would call the home office, I
what
guess.
to do. But I signed an online petition to keep Kroger from allowing guns to be carried in the store. There's a mother's group that has started the petition, and actually I think it was the petition itself that quoted the number of people that had been killed nationwide in Kroger stores.
Really? Well, for heaven's sake. How many? I mean, ballpark.
I see. I was late today at the station because I was going through these things I was looking up. But several, I see Starbucks and Chipotle and whatever have responded to their request. And when I first called the first man, who was not real high on the totem pole, he said, I don't know, but I can't see what the problem would be. So that's when I asked to speak to the boss.
I mean, I get that because it's the law of the land. We have concealed carry in Ohio, so.
I guess most recently
Open carry, yeah.
on internet, they say that Kroger's not changed its gun policy, but said, our long-standing policy on this issue is to follow state and local laws and to ask customers to be respectful of others while shopping. We know that our customers are passionate on both sides of this issue, and we trust them to be responsible in our stores. Now, I have to feel kind of sorry for Kroger's. I know CASA, I think it's CASA and like the library have signs up.
Yeah, the
no
library
gun toting. But some of the people that here's a fellow in responding to this that said, I saw the news tonight in reference to the proposal to change the store's firearm policy. First and foremost, it is the constitutional right, federally and here in Ohio, constitutionally, law-abiding citizens have the right to open carry a firearm in plain view. I'm a federally licensed firearm dealer and a concealed carry instructor. The society has deteriorated so significantly that people in general need to have the ability to protect themselves and their loved ones in all settings of their daily lives. And if that right is taken away by people that see firearms as something evil, or if the only factor that stops the bad people with a gun, I read that wrong, but unneeded, we would suffer even more as a society.
Huh.
That being said, there are far more good people with guns than bad.
All right. Well.
That
I don't
may
know that
not
I
be
believe
true.
that. Yeah, I don't know that I
How do we
believe
know
that.
how many bad people?
Definition. What is our definition of bad? But here's the thing. To me, this is my opinion, okay? Like it or not like it. I think that this Wild West mentality, this bunker mentality, this hunker down, this people are out to get us, there's bad guys all over the place with guns, is just ridiculous. This society is no different than it's ever been. I think this 24-hour news stations, these 24-hour news stations that just harp and harp and harp and harp on, things like how bad people are and what terrible things are happening in the world and all that kind of stuff. We have become so paranoid here for, I think, no good reason. Now, granted, in certain areas of the United States, in certain big cities, there are problems with guns and with people having guns and people getting shot, just at random, drive-by shootings and all that kind of stuff. That's very rare. Well, in Athens, Ohio, in Kroger, who is going to need a gun? And if they had a gun, they're more dangerous, if you ask me, because the chances are that they can't hit anything. If you hit what you aim at, you're a pretty good shot. And I don't believe all those people are pretty good shots. So I'm not banking on them to, protect me. I'm afraid they'll shoot me by mistake.
Yeah, if you reach for the last loaf of bread.
There you go, blam. So no, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And we all know that people are killed by stray bullets. So they shoot at something, they're aiming at something they perceive as bad or wrong or some bad guy or whatever they think it is. They don't hit them, that's a stray bullet. It's going to hit something. It's not just going to drop down.
Well, talking of constitutional rights, one responder said, sorry, but it is also the store's constitutional right to just say no to gun in their stores. The law-abiding citizens do not wish to shop with scarred people that think they look tough carrying a gun.
Amen, brother. That's the truth. I sure don't. I'm more scared of these people that took an hour or two of training with a Glock that could blow a hole right through you than I am of any crazy person coming into Kroger's with a gun. It really frightens me. And there again, we get to the definition of bad. What is somebody's definition of bad? Remember that guy that shot the guy in the movie theater because he was texting? I mean, where do we get a definition of bad? What do you have to do to be
Well,
bad?
destructive. We can use the word destructive.
I guess. But these shootings that happen with these crazy people with these guns are of what I look upon as innocent people. There's been actually, to my knowledge, now I could be wrong about this, but anybody who shot up someplace and killed people, nobody shot them but the police. You know, there wasn't anybody there. No vigilantes were there.
Well, one person said, what constitutional right is that? You mean corporate policy? Of course, corporations are people, so they have constitutional
Yes,
rights.
exactly.
Too.
Now we know the Supreme Court has said that.
Another fellow said, Kroger made the right decision. I would have to choose to shop elsewhere if they banned guns.
Oh, boy. Well, you see, now that's that bunker mentality that guy thinks. And, you know, I see where he's coming from. He really believes that there are bad people, probably Al-Qaeda or something is going to storm into Kroger and maybe try to take over Athens. I don't know. I think, you know, it's not altogether his fault that he feels this way. I think what's on our airways today, if you spent your whole time listening to Rush Limbaugh, you'd be paranoid too.
I've never listened to him.
And all it is an attempt. See, people, if you could just understand, all this is an attempt to get your money. They want you to raise their ratings, so they create all this false sense of doom and gloom and, oh my God, people are after us. And it's all for the reason of raising their ratings so they'll get more from their sponsors, and you're falling for it. Think about it. Think about
You
it.
see, this is one gem of public access that we don't have to worry about losing our sponsors.
No.
We can say it's freedom of speech.
Right. And we can say this, if anybody wants to get on here and refute us and talk about the other side, that's fine with us too. Because we agree pretty much, I think, on where we stand. And, you know, there's bound to be plenty of people out there, maybe listening right now, watching, that disagree with us. And that's fine too. And you can come here and have some time on our program and talk about the other point of view. That's what Access is about.
And leave your
Access.
gun at home. Maybe Access should have one of those signs
Yeah, no
to protect us.
Right. Because I might make him mad and he might shoot me. You never know. So yeah, leave your guns at home. Just talk.
Well, on a cheerier note, the dog swim was fantastic and well attended this year as contrasted with last year.
Gosh, I thought it was pretty well attended
And,
last year. There must have been tons of dogs there.
Not as many as the year before. Anyway, it might have had to do with the time of day. But there were, well, I'll comment on the dog swim after you can take a couple of minutes to see my slow motion version of it.
Oh, good. I love the dog swim.
Well, I declare, I saw so many people there with cameras and cell phones, and it occurred to me that we should have a contest.
Yeah.
Let people submit their best photograph of their dog, drop it off to Access with maybe the dog's name written on back, and
Well, you can
your
email
name.
it. You can email it. You don't have to even come here.
Well,
You can email it.
if you can handle that, I prefer.
I have
But
faith.
yes, so give them the email address.
The email address is, maybe we can get it put up. We'll put it up.
Maybe Matt will do that now.
I can't do that.
Not right this minute, but
I can't do it after I.
we do have an email address.
Yes, we do.
And those of you who used your iPhones, you know what to do. All you have to do is click on the picture and click on the little box with the arrow, and off it goes.
Right, and the prize. I haven't told you about the prize.
Ah, a prize.
You get to appear on Kaleidoscope with
Oh,
your pets.
With your pet.
Uh-huh.
Oh, cool.
So, and the judges,
You and me.
well, you're going to have an operation, so
No,
it may
this is
take
true.
them a little while to get the thing developed. Maybe we'll give them a month. Will you be back in?
I should be.
Okay, so me and Jane, and if there's 2 runner-ups, if there are 2 winners, we'll
We'll let Matt decide.
either have them the same
I just killed a dog.
Matt.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, so I'm looking forward to some of those pictures because folks took a lot of pictures of their dear dogs. And I took an hour of the swim, and that will be on, I believe, Grassroots, an hour-long program on public access, which will air several times during the week. So
So
look
if
out
you
for
can't
it.
get enough of the dog swim, you know what to do.
And what I did a slow motion of was 2 dogs in, the water splashing up slowly, and then
Oh, cool.
really fun. You can have
You're
fun
just-
with computers.
You're just getting so tricky, Nan.
Okay, well, we haven't had many fan letters recently. However, I got an email from the Athens County Historical Society and Museum. And this was after I had shot the next video, which is of one of their member meetings at the Ridges. But the email announces that thanks to a collaboration with the Athens Government Access Channel, our programs will be videotaped and edited by the city and will run both on our website and the government channel, Channel 5.
Oh. So, not on Channel 9.
And they will be videotaped, the programs will be videotaped and edited by the city.
Okay.
So then they have a note that says, next up will be Archaeology Month. And I don't know if steampunk is going on now or not, but that's something else that I think they sponsor. So I think that I would like to go to the next archaeology dig and hover in the bushes and tape the city taping the archaeology dig.
Oh, that's funny. And I'm going to just go watch. I'm not going to tape anything. I'm just going to go watch you hovering in the bushes.
This kind of opens up a precedent for the government channel cooperating with other
Government
city
channels, yeah.
city independents like NAMI, and they could cover the NAMI meetings. And but I had already taped the Ridges members meeting of the museum. My apologies to government access for stepping on their toes, but let's go to the Ridges meeting. Okay, first, who are you?
I'm Sarah Richardson. I'm a landscape architect and campus planner with MKSK, part of the design and planning team for the Ridges Master Plan.
So you're one of the architects?
I'm a landscape architect, yes.
Oh.
So I'm like an architect, but I focus on outside the buildings.
And at what point are the features going to be nailed down?
Well, this is a master plan. So when we talk about a master plan, we're not designing the exact site design that's going to be built. We're looking at the big picture. What kind of programs and uses are right for the Ridges? How can we get better connectivity between the Ridges up here and the main campus down here? How do we bring the community back to the Ridges? Those sorts of things. So we're looking at the big picture, and we're going to come up with plans where buildings might be, where roads and parking might be, but they're going to be general in nature so that the university understands what they should be doing in the next 2 years, 10 years, 20 years. So it's a long-term planning document, and then they can start on the priority projects right away, as soon as they have funding and everything.
Funding, that will be important.
Funding will be important, yes.
Is there any way to increase parking?
We are looking at parking. Parking is one of those evil things. Nobody wants to see it except everybody wants their spot by their building. And so we always have to kind of balance those things. We have to have parking up here to make it functional. We have to have it, but we don't just want the Ridges to be a parking field. So we have different images of different types of parking out here. We're trying to kind of take the pulse of the community on what they think is important and what's the right type of parking for the Ridges.
And working on the connectivity.
Yes.
Okay, so there are going to be small workshops, is that it? Or?
Well, we don't know. Right now, we're early in the process.
Here.
We're looking at all different kinds. You mean for this planning process? Well, this is the second public workshop. We're going to have another public presentation after we get further through this. We are very early looking at a lot of ideas. We haven't even had a chance to go through everything with the university yet. So it's not, there are things that we've talked about, but nothing's finalized yet.
Okay, well, people are putting red dots on the posters for things they're against, and green for things they're interested in.
Yes, what we wanted to do, when we talk, for instance, you and I could say, we like a casual landscape. What does that mean? You have one picture in your head, I have another picture in mine, and they could be vastly different. So this is what we call visual listening. And what we do is we get pictures that are very different. Different types of parking, different types of landscape treatments, different types of activities. And it's a way for people to intuitively get it. And it's easier for people to respond to pictures than to words. And so they can put a green dot if they like something or think it's appropriate. If they hate something or think it's not the right thing here at the Ridges, then they can express their opinion.
Okay, well, this sounds like a good idea. People seem to be enjoying putting their stickers on the pictures.
Yeah, they're probably going to be all over town soon.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Three words that currently describe the Ridges: tranquil, historical, unlimited potential, disconnected, historical, beautiful, neglect on the part of OU, potential for creative imagination, asylum, beautiful, despair, historic, unique, awesome, inspiring, and masterpiece.
It was very positive. More positive.
Questions other than this one that you want us to add to the list? If not, we're ready to move you on to the next table. I'll read you.
He's not going to write a check for $250 million and say, let's fix it. And but
Are you
will
ready
they?
for us? Or?
I'm ready for
Will they work with again these other private entities?
Yeah.
And then,
well, I know they will. That's my fear, actually. See, I think we view it in different from different
so I don't
sides.
want you to think though that the university comes and says, I'm picking you to do my development and you're going to do it this way and this is what it's going to be. That's not what we mean by partnership. We're talking about cooperative with the community, and I agree there are people that are a little bit nervous about the process.
I believe this back, and I'm sure there are people trying to get this property.
Kim, anything from
Yeah,
your?
so it was interesting to see as you went through, and I had everybody at the end of their activity. But everybody in their community was hoping to get, and trends, everybody thought that they were architecturally beautiful, historic, and definitely have a lot of potential.
So our next step is to take all this in, learn from.
A lot of you have been talking and thinking about the ridges for many years, and others, you know, you've been thinking about it in certain ways, but sometimes just putting up images and questions and things helps kind of spur a different way of thinking, or not so much a way of thinking, but just spurs new thoughts.
And if you just thought of one and you need to go back and post it, go ahead and do that. Or you think of one tomorrow morning, try to put it on that email site for us and send it to us, and we'll look at it and add it to it.
And the website is the Ridges at what?
At SCA,
Schooley Caldwell Associates.
dash, not under department, dash AE.com.
Will be exciting on October 1st. So I really appreciate your attendance here and your feedback as well.
Really pretty stuff. And it would not be fair to release a book of
But
all
we
bad
did see
stuff.
the pretty stuff too, and we know where that is.
We know where it is. So we'd have to go back and take pictures of it. We don't have a problem with sharing that information. It's not yet been completed, and it's not yet been shared with the advisory board. So I'm sure there's a time in the future when that information can be shared. It's what the basis of the stabilization package was for, to find the really bad stuff. And so I think what we might want to consider, because that's the 5th time that was asked tonight, we may want to go back and do some of the good and the bad and the ugly, rather than just the ugly. So we'll talk with that in committee and see if there's a way that we can approach, again, being honest about potential as well as challenges.
And thanks to everybody, the Schooley Caldwell team, Ben Stewart's existing building committee, Dick Planasek and others, Lynn Newell, who were on that team, who helped formulate that package for it.
Here, there's a lot of land here just besides the buildings that we're trying to get a handle on. Any other questions? That if you want to, send them on along if you can't think of them right now. If not, thanks for coming.
Thank you all for coming.
Well, let me mention that the last 2 shows had my words not right in sync with my mouth. And I hope that you can follow what I have said today, and likewise with Jane. You speak clearly, don't you?
I have always been told that, yes. I have.
Well, I was kind of surprised that OU came up with this plan to revamp the Ridges after not letting the former head of the Historical Society even speak at the Board of Trustees meeting earlier. And I think that may have put OU in a unfavorable light. Certainly it did with me. And so, but they have come up with a truly admirable enterprise to solicit grassroots input for their redoing of the Ridges. And they had a lot of pictures and a lot of topics and red stickers and green stickers, and people could go around and put the sticker beside the pictures and the statements that they agreed with or didn't agree with. And then they're going to let the attendees know the outcome of that. And they will have one more meeting, and they invite community input. So that will be your chance, Athens. And I think it's, well, you saw on the video the date. I think it's October the 1st, but you can see a rerun of this thing and see what the answer is.
Yeah, see what the decision is. But until then, Athens, we are going to have to leave you. It's been nice. It's been good.
I wonder if the government channel will wave.
I bet they don't say au revoir. I betcha, but we do. So au revoir, Athens. See you again.